Beloved, chosen one, pause and listen. Heaven has stilled its breath to speak directly to you. This moment is not an accident, not a random collision of seconds on a timeline. This is divine orchestration. You are not scrolling by coincidence. Heaven has appointed this very instant to announce your waiting season is ending. You have crossed the invisible line between preparation and manifestation. You have won. For years, you prayed through silence. You questioned why your heart carried hope that seemed unanswered. You wondered if you were forgotten, overlooked, invisible to the God who promised he would never leave you. Yet here you are, still believing, still standing, still reaching toward light, though surrounded by uncertainty. That resilience, that stubborn faith, has become your crown. Heaven has watched your tears fall like seeds into the soil of time, and now those tears are about to bloom into divine partnership. You were never waiting in vain. Every unanswered prayer, every heartbreak, every lonely night had purpose. Heaven was shaping you, refining you, purifying your vision of love so that when the one ordained for you arrives, you would not mistake imitation for destiny. Heaven could not send your partner while your heart still carried the residue of past pain. So he waited until the fire finished its work. You are about to understand why it took so long. What is coming will not resemble what you've lost. The one heaven sends is not coming to complete you. They are coming to partner with you in purpose. Your love story will not merely be emotional, it will be prophetic. It will carry the fragrance of heaven, a testimony that obedience and patience produce miracles. Your story has been rewritten in divine ink. Heaven is turning the page now. The angels assigned to your destiny have begun to move. Somewhere, right now. The one who has been hidden for you is feeling a stirring they cannot explain. Their spirit is being drawn toward light, toward obedience, toward you. Your story has been rewritten in divine ink. Heaven is turning the page now. The angels assigned to your destiny have begun to move. Somewhere, right now. The one who has been hidden for you is feeling a stirring they cannot explain. Their spirit is being drawn toward light, toward obedience, toward you. They are beginning to awaken to their own calling, realizing that the emptiness they felt is not loneliness but divine preparation. Heaven is aligning both of your hearts in the unseen. What once seemed like delay is actually choreography, each step ordered, each detour sacred. The same God who whispered your name in their spirit is now drawing you together with invisible threads of purpose. Even now, your name is echoing in their prayers. They may not know why they suddenly feel peace about the future, or why their heart feels heavy with anticipation. But it is because heaven has marked this season for connection. Soon, paths will cross, eyes will meet, and the story heaven wrote before time will finally begin to unfold. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." Those words were not written only for ancient readers, they are for you, chosen one. The vision of love God planted in your heart was never cancelled, only waiting for divine timing. This is that time. The waiting that once felt endless is now prophetic proof that what's coming is sacred. You were not rejected, you were reserved. Heaven was not silent, it was strategic. You have reached the hour when heaven releases what it once withheld to protect you from premature blessing. Listen carefully when God sends this person. Peace will confirm it before passion does. The presence of God will saturate your connection. You will recognize them not by appearance, but by alignment. Conversations will feel like prayer. Laughter will sound like worship. You will both know without striving, without forcing that this is holy. Do not second-guess the peace when it comes. You have lived long enough in storms. You will recognize still waters when they appear. This love will not compete with your calling. It will amplify it. Together, you will carry light into places that have known only darkness. Heaven's plan is partnership with purpose, not just affection. So lift your head. Chosen one, you have survived the testing, endured the pruning, and now you stand at the threshold of divine fulfillment. Heaven has already spoken over you. It is time. If these words resonate with your spirit, do not scroll away. This is confirmation that heaven is speaking directly to you. Take a moment, breathe, receive, and affirm it. Type in the comments below the number 777 as a prophetic declaration that you are ready to receive your heaven-sent partner. Then, like and share this message so it reaches every other chosen one still standing in the waiting place. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because what heaven is about to reveal next will strengthen your faith for the journey ahead. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine fulfillment unfolding before your eyes. You are not forgotten. You are favored. And heaven is already in motion, carrying your promise straight into your life. Chosen one. The long night of preparation was never punishment. It was divine craftsmanship. While you wept, heaven worked. Every silent season, every unanswered question, every door that refused to open was part of the blueprint. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being developed. Love without depth cannot endure. And so, heaven allowed you to be refined by solitude until your roots grew strong enough to sustain holy connection. There were nights when your heart felt like it was breaking for no reason. You prayed for companionship, but what you received was silence. You sought comfort, but heaven answered with stillness. You begged for signs, yet the only thing you heard was the echo of your own prayers. And in that quiet, something divine was happening. The silence was not empty, it was sacred. It was heaven detoxing your soul from the noise of distraction, preparing you to hear the soft whisper of destiny. When others moved ahead, married early, started families, found their matches, you watched and wondered why your time had not come. It seemed unfair, but you were not behind, you were set apart. Heaven could not allow you to settle for something that looked right but was not born of divine purpose. You were being taught to distinguish between emotional attachment and spiritual covenant. This long night trained your discernment. Every heartbreak sharpened your ability to recognize truth. You learned the difference between attraction and alignment, between comfort and calling. You stopped chasing validation and began to seek confirmation. You stopped trying to be chosen by people and realized you were already chosen by God. That revelation changed everything. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 7, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. That endurance has become your silent strength. You endured seasons of emptiness without losing faith. You believed when there was no visible proof. You hoped when logic said to let go. You carried the weight of expectation and never surrendered. That is why heaven calls you worthy now. Think of it if you had received your promise too early. It might have become your idol. But now, after the refining, you are ready to handle blessing without worshipping it. You will love without losing yourself, give without begging to be seen, and walk in partnership without fear of abandonment. The long night purified your motives, teaching you that love is not possession but partnership. Many do not understand the sacredness of waiting. They see it as wasted time, but heaven sees it as holy preparation. Even in nature, seeds must stay hidden in darkness before they bloom. The soil presses on them, the earth buries them, and yet something beautiful begins to grow. You, chosen one, are that seed. The darkness you endured was not the end, it was the beginning. Your prayers were not ignored, they were incubated. Heaven never said no, he said, not yet. And when the fullness of time arrives, delay transforms into destiny. The one meant for you will not be able to miss you, because heaven has written both of your names in the same sentence of purpose. Remember those moments you felt invisible. They were divine disguise. Heaven was hiding you in plain sight to protect what was sacred. Every time someone walked away, it was mercy. Every rejection was redirection. Every heartbreak was heaven whispering, "Not this one." You were not being punished, you were being preserved for something pure. You may have thought you were standing still, but in the unseen, your spirit was maturing. You learned to pray not for anyone, but for the one. You began to ask for character over chemistry, for peace over passion, for purpose over popularity. Heaven smiled at that shift, because it signaled readiness. Look back now and you'll see the pattern. The ones who could not stay were never meant to. The closed doors protected your promise. The long nights trained your heart to trust God above feelings. And that trust has become the foundation upon which your divine partnership will be built. Soon, you will thank heaven for every unanswered prayer, because you will realize they were not unanswered, they were redirected to something far greater. The pain taught you patience. The waiting birthed wisdom. The loneliness birthed strength. And that strength is what will sustain your love when it arrives. So breathe deeply tonight. The night was not wasted. Every hour of it mattered. The silence you hated was shaping your song. The tears you thought fell unnoticed watered the garden of your destiny. Heaven never left you. It was preparing you to stand beside someone who has also been prepared. Two refined hearts, two purified souls, one divine purpose. Your long night is ending. Chosen one, dawn is coming. And with it comes the promise you have carried for years. Heaven is faithful. Love will find you right on time. Chosen one, you have carried weight that few could see. People saw your smile, but heaven saw your burden. You walked through seasons of silence where your heart cried louder than your words. You have been misunderstood, taken for granted, and left to stand alone in moments when you needed arms to hold you. Yet, through it all, you never let go of your light. That is why you are still standing, because heaven's strength has been holding you when your own strength ran dry. Every rejection was heaven's protection. You thought you were being abandoned, but heaven was removing those who could not carry your calling. You were never meant to be surrounded by many, only by the chosen few who could see your value without needing to be convinced of it. That's why your circle grew smaller while your faith grew stronger. Heaven was preparing you to stand in purity and purpose before it introduced your divine partner. There were moments when you lay awake at night, whispering, "Why me? God, why?" The loneliness, the pain, the endless tests. But heaven's answer was quiet, because you can carry it. Not because you were perfect, but because you were destined. You have walked through valleys that would have broken others, yet here you are wiser, deeper, softer, and stronger all at once. You didn't just survive, you transformed. Your tears did not fall in vain. Heaven collected each one. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, your spirit grew stronger. Every time you kept loving when love wasn't returned, your heart became more like His. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You emerged refined, radiant, and ready. As we are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." That morning is not far from you now. The darkness that once felt endless is breaking apart at the edges. The light you thought would never return is already touching your life. This is not just emotional healing, it's spiritual resurrection. Remember, pain was your teacher. It showed you what real love should not feel like. The ones who misused your heart were lessons, not losses. They exposed the counterfeit so you would recognize authenticity when it appears. Because when heaven sends your true partner, their presence will not demand you to shrink or perform. It will allow you to exhale. You will not need to chase, you will recognize. You will not need to force, it will flow. You were hidden because your heart carries rare gold. Heaven had to protect it from hands that would mishandle it. The solitude you despised was actually sanctuary. God was keeping you unseen so that when the right one arrives, they will find you pure. Not broken, ready. Not desperate. The weight you carried was not punishment, it was proof that you were chosen for something sacred. There is beauty in how heaven works. It takes what once hurt you and turns it into wisdom that blesses others. Every wound becomes a window for light to shine through. You now carry empathy that cannot be faked, compassion that cannot be taught. You see through masks because you have worn your own. You can love deeply because you know what it costs. That is what sets you apart. You are prepared to love like heaven loves. Chosen one. You are not defined by who left. You are defined by who stayed, even when everyone else turned away. Heaven leaned closer. Every unanswered call from people became an answered call from God. The pain that once made you feel unworthy has now become the very testimony that proves you are set apart. You are the evidence that suffering can produce something sacred. And now, the weight you once carried alone will soon be shared. Heaven is sending someone who will understand your silence, feel your heart without words, and walk beside you without fear. The nights of carrying everything on your own are ending. You will soon experience what it means to be truly seen, truly understood, truly loved. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Let the truth of this sink in. You have not lost. You have been prepared. Every heavy season, every lonely prayer, every hidden tear has become the bridge between where you were and where you're going. If this speaks to your spirit, take a moment and type, "I receive peace" in the comments below. Those 3 words are not just agreement, they are activation. They signal to heaven that you are done wrestling, that you are ready to rest in divine timing. Let those words become your declaration tonight. You are no longer striving, you are surrendering. And in surrender, heaven moves. Your waiting was never wasted. The weight you carried alone has made you strong enough to carry the promise that's coming. The dawn is nearer than you think, and joy is already walking toward you. Chosen one, heaven remembers the nights you questioned whether your faith was enough, the moments you sat in stillness, wondering if God had heard even one of your prayers, the times you saw others celebrating their blessings while you stood with empty hands, whispering, "When will it be my turn?" But in the unseen realm, heaven was testing your faith not to break you, but to build you into someone unshakable. Faith is not proven by easy seasons. It is forged in the furnace of delay. When promises tarry, when prayers seem unanswered, when silence lingers longer than hope, that is when true faith is formed. The waiting was heaven's test, and you, chosen one, have passed it. You held on to belief when logic told you to give up. You clung to hope when everything around you screamed, "It's over." That kind of endurance is what moves heaven. The trials you faced were not signs of divine neglect, they were invitations into divine depth. You were not being ignored, you were being initiated. Heaven was teaching you the language of patience, the discipline of trust, the posture of surrender. Faith that has not been tested cannot be trusted. And so, heaven allowed your strength to be measured not because God doubted you, but because he wanted you to see how resilient your spirit truly is. There were days you prayed and felt nothing, but you prayed again anyway. There were times you served while your own heart was breaking. You encouraged others while secretly needing encouragement yourself. That, chosen one, was the test. Heaven wanted to see if you would worship without evidence, love without reward, obey without applause. And you did. You chose faith when fear would have been easier. You chose to trust even when your heart trembled. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." You did not know it, but your tiny prayers were moving mountains in the unseen. Each whispered amen shifted spiritual terrain. The obstacles that once towered before you have already begun to crumble, not by your might, but by your persistence in faith. Faith is a strange companion. It walks with you through dark valleys, asking for trust without proof. It demands you to believe in rain while you're still standing in drought. Yet it is that very faith that draws heaven's attention. When you refused to curse your process, when you chose gratitude over complaint, angels took note. Heaven recorded your endurance as worship. There is a mystery in how heaven refines chosen ones. It does not pamper them, it perfects them. You were not kept in waiting to be punished, but to be purified. The promises God gave you were too sacred to be handled by an untested heart. So he tested your patience until it became peace. He tested your obedience until it became instinct. He tested your hope until it became revelation. Now, you stand stronger than you realize. The storms that once frightened you now fuel your praise. The mountains that once intimidated you now bow before your faith. What once broke you has become the very evidence that God was with you all along. You thought you were barely surviving, but heaven saw a warrior in training. Every tear became oil for your anointing. Every setback became preparation for your elevation. There were seasons when you questioned everything: your worth, your timing, your purpose. You wondered if maybe you had misheard God. But heaven smiles at such moments because they are the signs of someone being stripped of self-reliance. You were never wrong to believe. You were simply learning how to believe better. You were learning to trust in timing rather than visible results. You were learning to hold on not to outcomes, but to the one who promised them. Chosen one. The test was never about losing, it was about lasting. Heaven wanted to prove that your faith was not shallow emotion, but deep conviction. You have now reached a point where your hope no longer wavers with circumstances. You can now stand still and say, even if nothing changes, I still believe. That is faith in its purest form. And heaven calls it beautiful. Your faith has become your fragrance, rising to heaven like incense. It has drawn divine favor to your name. You may not see it yet, but doors are opening in dimensions unseen. The very places where you were rejected will soon be the same places where you are celebrated. Your endurance has written your name into heaven's record of the faithful. The testing of your faith was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. You are not the same as before. You have become a vessel of divine trust, a living testimony that faith still moves mountains. And now that heaven has seen your heart stand firm, it is ready to release what you were promised. Hold this truth deeply. You were never waiting for God to move. He was waiting for your faith to mature. Now that it has, the next chapter begins. Chosen one. Heaven has always written your story with precision. Nothing about your path has been random or wasted. Every delay, every heartbreak, every whisper in the dark has been part of a heavenly blueprint, a love story authored by God Himself. What is being written for you now is not merely about romance. It is about restoration, partnership, and divine purpose. This is why the waiting felt so sacred and heavy. Heaven wasn't just preparing a partner for you, it was preparing a destiny through you. There is a design to this love that transcends emotion. Heaven's version of partnership is not built on fleeting attraction, but on eternal assignment. When God unites two chosen souls, it is not just so they can love each other, it is so they can carry light into places that have been abandoned by hope. That is the difference between ordinary connection and divine covenant. You, chosen one, are being written into a love that will become a ministry, a living testimony of what heaven can do when two obedient hearts meet in perfect timing. You are not waiting for someone who simply makes you happy. You are being aligned with someone who will make you holy. The right partner will not pull you away from your calling, they will push you deeper into it. You will recognize them not only by how they make you feel, but by how they remind you of who you are in God's eyes. This person will not compete with your anointing. They will protect it. They will pray with you when the world feels heavy, speak life when your faith wavers, and stand beside you as you both advance heaven's purpose together. As was spoken in the sacred texts of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." This ancient truth still echoes through eternity. You were not designed for isolation. You were created for covenant. Heaven saw your loneliness and said, "It is time to send the one who fits." Not a replacement for what was lost, but a divine completion of what was promised. But understand this: chosen one, before heaven sends your partner, it reveals your purpose, because divine love without purpose becomes directionless, and God never builds anything without foundation. That is why you have been learning, healing, and growing in hidden seasons. The same way a foundation is laid before walls rise, heaven was preparing your heart before love arrives. You are being built to last, not to break. Soon, you will look back and realize that every closed door was protecting your divine architecture. The blueprint always included the pain. It was never a mistake. It was preparation for glory. When your partner arrives, you will see how every thread of your journey connects perfectly with theirs, how their scars complement yours, and how both your stories form one tapestry of redemption. This love will not be rushed. It will be rooted. It will not need to prove itself, because peace will confirm it. There will be a quiet knowing, a stillness that whispers, "This is what heaven promised." And when that moment comes, you will understand that waiting was never a punishment, it was preservation. Chosen one, take this as a gentle reminder. Divine love does not arrive to fill your emptiness, but to multiply your fullness. You are already whole. Heaven is simply sending someone who mirrors that wholeness back to you. Together, you will build something sacred, something that outlasts seasons, challenges, and time. Pause for a moment. Feel the weight of what is being spoken over your life. This is not just another promise, it is prophecy unfolding. Heaven's design for you is too great to remain hidden much longer. The appointed time is approaching when your heart will finally meet the reflection heaven has prepared. If this message speaks to you, take a second, don't rush past this moment. Let gratitude rise in your heart. Whisper a quiet thank you for the journey that shaped you. And if you feel led, show your faith through action, gently like this message, not as an act of habit, but as a declaration that you believe heaven's hand is at work in your love story. Share it forward. 2. Not for numbers or attention, but because someone else is still in the waiting place, praying the same prayers you once prayed. You never know how your act of faith might become the confirmation they've been asking God for. And if you haven't already, subscribe not for the algorithm, but for alignment. This space exists to remind the chosen ones like you that heaven's promises are real, that divine timing still prevails, and that love ordained by God will always find its way home. You are not just a dreamer of divine promises, you are the living fulfillment of one. The blueprint of heaven's love is unfolding, and your name is written on it. Chosen one. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. Heaven is aligning unseen details, turning what felt like chaos into divine choreography. You may not see it yet, but every element of your journey, every delay, every detour, every heartbreak is now converging in perfect rhythm. This is the moment of alignment, the hour when heaven begins to synchronize your heart with the one chosen for you. There is a holy stillness before divine movement. Right now, that stillness is surrounding you. It is the pause before the promise manifests, the sacred breath before heaven exhales the answer you've been waiting for. Something deep within you can already sense it, the gentle stirring, the inner confirmation that change is near. Heaven is not merely preparing to send someone. Heaven is preparing you to receive them. Alignment is not about coincidence. It is about readiness. Two hearts can only meet when they vibrate at the same frequency of obedience. That is why heaven has been refining you, teaching you to wait without complaining, to trust without seeing, to love without fearing. You are not just being matched, you are being synchronized. Heaven is tuning your heart to the same key as the one who will walk beside you. You may feel strange waves of peace lately, moments where your spirit feels lighter for no reason. That is not random, it's resonance. Heaven is softening your edges, releasing the last remnants of doubt and pain. In another part of the world, the same process is happening in the life of the one destined for you. The divine coordinates are already locked in. Soon, paths will intersect as planned since before time began. Heaven has a way of arranging what no human effort could ever manufacture. Divine alignment doesn't rely on luck, it relies on obedience. When both hearts surrender to God's timing, heaven brings them together without striving. You won't need to chase, you'll simply recognize. You won't need to question, you'll know. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 6, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." These words were written as a map for moments like this. Your task is not to find the path, it is to acknowledge the one who directs it. When you do, the path reveals itself naturally, illuminated by divine favor. Chosen one. Every step you have taken has been divinely guided. Even the steps that led you into pain were necessary turns in your preparation. Heaven wastes nothing. Every season has shaped you into a vessel capable of carrying pure love. You have been stretched but not broken, humbled but not defeated. The alignment now unfolding is heaven's confirmation that your endurance has not been in vain. The one destined for you is not coming to complete you, but to complement you. They will not arrive to fix your brokenness, they will arrive because you both have been healed enough to meet each other in wholeness. That is the essence of divine timing, two stories becoming one. Not out of need, but out of purpose. When you meet them, peace will whisper louder than excitement. You will not feel anxious, you will feel anchored. You will not feel overwhelmed, you will feel understood. Heaven's alignment feels like rest, not rush. And this time, you will not have to wonder if it's right, it will simply be right. This moment is sacred. Heaven is watching your posture, ensuring your heart remains soft and expectant. Do not look back with regret, and do not look forward with fear. Simply stand where you are, in gratitude. The universe is not conspiring against you, it is cooperating with heaven's plan for you. Let faith rise as you read these words. The same God who aligned galaxies and oceans is aligning hearts and destinies. You are not behind schedule. You are precisely where you need to be. Soon, what was hidden will be revealed. The one you've prayed for is being positioned even now. Heaven is fine-tuning the timing so that when you meet, everything will feel effortless. Chosen one. This message finds you because the season of alignment has already begun. Do not doubt the timing or question the process. You have been faithful, and heaven rewards faithfulness with fulfillment. Take this as a prophetic sign. Your heart is being tuned to divine frequency. When you sense the peace that surpasses understanding, know that heaven has already spoken. And now, as an act of faith, type the number 555 inches, the comments. It represents divine change, grace in transition, and heaven's hand aligning what once seemed impossible. This is not superstition, it is a prophetic act of agreement. Every time you declare it, you are saying, I trust heaven's timing. I believe alignment is here. Feel that peace settle over you. Chosen one, heaven has heard. The process is in motion. What was once misaligned is coming together perfectly, and soon you will see with your own eyes what heaven has been building all along. Chosen one, there will come a moment when the veil lifts, when what has been hidden for so long stands before you in divine clarity. That moment will not be loud or theatrical, it will be quiet, but undeniable. Heaven never needs spectacle to prove itself. You will recognize your promise not through fireworks, but through peace. It will feel as if time pauses, as if every sound around you fades and only stillness remains. That stillness will not be emptiness, it will be the presence of God confirming, "This is the one." Recognizing the promise requires spiritual sensitivity. Many have missed divine connections because they expected something dramatic. But heaven often moves subtly, gently, gracefully. When the right person appears, there won't be chaos. There will be calm. They will not demand your attention. They will draw your spirit. Your soul will lean forward as if it already knows them, because in a way, it does. Heaven planted the memory of their essence deep inside you before either of you were born. There is a sacred familiarity that exists between two souls ordained by God. It is not based on sight, but on spirit. You may look at them and feel a soft recognition, something ancient, something beyond words. Your heart will whisper, "I've been here before." That's not imagination, it's remembrance. You are remembering the covenant heaven wrote over both of you before you entered this world. The human mind cannot always understand such moments. Logic will question it. Fear may resist it. But peace will remain. And that peace is your compass. It will be as though heaven has engraved on your spirit, "This is safe. This is holy. This is home." Heaven wants you to know the recognition is not about appearance. It's not about who looks the part or says the right words. It's about resonance. The one chosen for you will carry the same spiritual frequency. When they speak, their words will echo the prayers you once whispered in solitude. When they pray, their spirit will harmonize with yours. You won't need to explain your calling, they will already understand it, because their destiny intertwines with it. We are reminded through the writings found in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 16, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." That ancient vow, spoken in love and loyalty, reflects the nature of divine recognition. It is not just emotion, it is alignment of calling, of mission, of faith. When you meet your ordained partner, that same unspoken commitment will rise within you. This connection will not be rooted in infatuation. It will not burn quickly and fade. Instead, it will glow steadily, like an eternal flame. You will feel seen not for your appearance or achievements, but for your soul. Their gaze will not flatter your ego, it will awaken your spirit. You will know the difference immediately, because the counterfeit connections of the past left you drained. But this one will leave you at peace. Heaven never sends confusion. The person meant for you will bring clarity. Their presence will feel like confirmation, not contradiction. You will both recognize each other as answers to prayer, not as projects to fix. Love from heaven is not meant to be exhausting, it is meant to be edifying. It will not distract you from God. It will draw you closer. Chosen one, you must trust your spirit more than your senses. The physical may not align with what you imagined, but the spiritual will resonate so strongly that it silences doubt. Do not dismiss someone just because they come differently than your expectations. Heaven often hides glory in humility. The one meant for you may not enter your life with grandeur, but with gentleness, and yet that gentleness will carry divine power. When this person arrives, both of you will feel it a sudden ease, a mutual understanding. You will communicate deeply without words, even in silence. Your spirits will speak. That is the mark of recognition, the sign that heaven has set this union apart. You may wonder, how will I know for sure? The answer is peace. The counterfeit may mimic passion, but only the real will bring stillness. The wrong connection will excite your emotions but unsettle your spirit. The right one will anchor you in tranquility. Peace will confirm what passion cannot. Heaven wants you to release fear now. You are not going to miss your moment. You are not too late. When divine timing meets divine alignment, nothing can interfere. The recognition will happen naturally ordained, unforced, undeniable. You won't have to chase what heaven has already written in your name. Soon, the signs will come, conversations that flow effortlessly, eyes that meet and feel familiar, laughter that feels like coming home. When those signs appear, don't rush them. Let heaven unfold the connection in its rhythm. Trust the pace. What is divine cannot be lost, and what is meant will not pass you by. Chosen one, prepare your heart. The promise is nearer than you imagine. You will recognize them by peace, remember them by spirit, and love them by purpose. Heaven's design never fails. Chosen one, every counterfeit season in your life is ending. Heaven is closing the chapters that once drained you, exposing every false connection that pretended to be love. You have walked through many imitations, relationships that looked divine on the surface but were hollow beneath. Yet, none of it was wasted. Each counterfeit served as a teacher, sharpening your discernment so you would never again confuse imitation with authenticity. Heaven watched every time your heart was taken for granted, every time manipulation disguised itself as affection. But even in those moments of heartbreak, heaven was whispering, "Not this one." You may have felt disappointed, but heaven was protecting your destiny from contamination. Divine love cannot grow in the soil of deception. And so heaven removed what could not stay, even when your heart didn't understand. When God ordains something, the enemy will always try to send a counterfeit first. The imitation usually arrives right before the real, to test your vision and tempt you into settling for less. That is why discernment has been your most important lesson. The heartbreaks were not to punish you, but to refine your ability to see clearly. Now, you are no longer impressed by words, you look for fruit. You no longer cling to promises, you watch for consistency. You have matured into someone who recognizes energy, not excuses. Every connection that ended was divine subtraction. Heaven allowed some people to leave because their presence would have delayed your purpose. Some smiled while secretly envying your light. Others loved your potential but feared your growth. And though it hurt to release them, you must understand some losses are actually divine liberations. Heaven cannot bring the ordained while your hands still hold the counterfeit. You have reached the season of unveiling. Heaven is removing the masks from every false source of affection. People who once appeared perfect will reveal their true motives. Those who used flattery as disguise will expose their own deception. This exposure is not meant to shame anyone, it is meant to protect you. Heaven will not allow you to be tricked again by charm that lacks substance. The prophet Isaiah wrote words that echo through your life even now. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn." These words are not only about battles, they are about betrayal, manipulation, and false attachments. The emotional weapons that once pierced your peace will fail this time. Heaven is your shield now. Chosen one. It's important to forgive even the counterfeits, not for their sake, but for your freedom. Bitterness binds, forgiveness releases. When you release resentment, you open the door for real love to enter. The pain you carried was never meant to follow you into the next chapter. Let it dissolve now. Heaven has seen your endurance. It will not allow your purity of heart to go unrewarded. The ones who deceived you were never your destiny. They were simply divine filters. They helped you discover what you truly deserve. You learned that real love doesn't require performance. Real connection doesn't create confusion. And real partnership doesn't drain your energy, it replenishes it. You now know the difference between intensity and intimacy, between chaos and connection. You have graduated from guessing to knowing. There is a holy calm that comes when heaven ends your counterfeit season. You may feel isolated for a time, but that solitude is sacred space. It's the transition between endings and beginnings. Do not fill the silence with distractions. Use this quiet to listen. Heaven speaks most clearly when the noise of imitation finally fades. You may still feel echoes of old patterns, memories, songs, or names that trigger past emotions. When that happens, don't see it as regression. See it as the final cleansing. Each memory leaving your heart makes room for the divine promise. You are being emptied of what once hurt you so that you can be filled with what will heal you. Chosen one. You have grown wiser. What once blinded you now informs you. The red flags you used to ignore now look like stop signs illuminated by heaven. You will never again mistake control for care or attachment for love. Your discernment has become your crown. As the counterfeit season closes, heaven celebrates your awakening. You are no longer who you were when you first began this journey. The veil has lifted. You now see beyond surface charm into spiritual essence. That clarity is the final test, and you've passed it. Soon, you will look back at this season not with bitterness, but with gratitude. You will thank heaven for every person who left, for every unanswered text, for every door that closed. Because now you will know those endings were the sound of heaven preparing space for something sacred, real, and eternal. Chosen one. The counterfeit season is over. The illusions are breaking. Truth stands revealed. And in that truth, you are finally free. Chosen one. You are nearing the most sacred moment of your journey, the reunion of souls. This is not merely about two people finding each other. It is about the divine convergence of destinies that have been echoing across eternity. Before you were born, heaven scripted a connection so precise, so intricately woven into your purpose, that nothing, not time, distance, or delay can prevent it from coming to pass. You were never meant to walk this life alone. Heaven has prepared another heart that beats in rhythm with yours, another soul carrying the same divine frequency. You have felt glimpses of them in your spirit long before you will meet them in the physical, in dreams, in moments of prayer, In that strange sense of longing that feels deeper than desire, it was your spirit remembering what your mind forgot. Heaven has been preparing both of you simultaneously, refining your hearts separately so that when you meet, there will be no confusion, only recognition. It will happen in the ordinary, but it will feel extraordinary. You might not even realize at first that you're standing in the middle of your answered prayer. Heaven's beauty is found in subtlety. The connection will feel like something ancient awakening. You will recognize not by appearance, but by energy. There will be an undeniable familiarity in their eyes, as if eternity just blinked, and two souls that once walked together have found each other again. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." And that is exactly how this reunion will happen, not through striving, not through chasing, but through stillness. Heaven will do the work. Your only task is to remain aligned, patient, and ready. The same divine hand that separated your paths for a season is now guiding them to merge once more. When that person enters your life, your spirit will exhale. Peace will wrap around you like a soft blanket. There will be no guessing, no anxiety, no endless analyzing of words or actions. You will feel home. Your laughter will sound different, lighter, freer. The tension you once carried in your chest will dissolve. You will finally understand why every previous attempt at love failed, because none of them were meant to hold the weight of your purpose. This reunion is sacred because it carries heaven's signature. Together, you will not only experience love, you will become love. Your connection will heal others simply by existing. The way you honor each other will be ministry in itself. Every conversation, every shared prayer, every act of kindness between you will echo through the spiritual realm as testimony that divine timing always wins. There will be no competition, no power struggle, no fear of abandonment. Instead, there will be mutual surrender, both hearts kneeling before heaven's will. You will not complete each other, you will complement each other. You will remind one another of who you truly are, chosen, seen, and deeply loved by God. Chosen one. This union is not coming to distract you from your destiny, it is coming to expand it. The love heaven is sending will amplify your voice, sharpen your focus, and multiply your strength. Where you once felt tired, you will feel renewed. Where you once prayed for confirmation, you will simply live in it. You may not realize it, but heaven has already begun aligning the steps. Your name has entered their spirit, your energy has brushed against their dreams. The intersection is closer than you think. Do not fear missing it. Divine timing cannot be interrupted. Heaven's plan is precise to the second. And when the appointed moment arrives, nothing will be able to keep you apart. Every act of obedience, every tear, every lonely prayer has led to this unfolding. The reunion will not just satisfy your heart, it will vindicate your faith. It will prove that every sacrifice was worth it. Now, let your heart rest. You do not need to search anxiously. You only need to remain available to heaven's movement. The same voice that whispered, "Wait," is now whispering, "Soon." And if your spirit feels this truth stirring, type "I am ready" in the comments below. Those 3 words are more than agreement, they are alignment. You are declaring that you trust heaven's timing, that you are open to love that carries divine purpose, and that you release fear of the past. When you write those words, you're not chasing a promise, you're standing in agreement with it. Chosen one. Heaven is weaving your paths even now. Your heart will not miss its echo. Your soul will not wander without recognition. What once felt like waiting will soon transform into fulfillment. The reunion of souls is not a hope, it is a certainty, and it is already on its way to you. Chosen one. Before every great blessing, there is always a battle. You are standing on the edge of fulfillment, but it is also the place where darkness tries hardest to pull you back. The closer you get to your promise, the louder the opposition becomes. The enemy does not attack what is failing, he attacks what is about to flourish. That's why you felt sudden waves of doubt, distractions, or emotional exhaustion lately. Heaven wants you to understand that it is not a setback, it is spiritual warfare. The moment before victory often feels like chaos. Everything around you may seem uncertain, but within that confusion lies the proof that heaven is moving. When destiny approaches, resistance rises. The unseen realm reacts to divine movement. But do not be afraid. Chosen one, heaven fights for what it ordains. Your battle is already known, and your victory is already written. This war is not about your strength, but about your obedience. Every time you choose to trust God instead of fear, you win. Every time you pray instead of panic, you advance. Every time you refuse to settle for less than what heaven promised, you defeat darkness without even lifting a sword. The enemy cannot destroy what heaven protects, he can only distract what heaven directs. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Those plans include your divine partnership, your purpose, and your peace. Heaven has never abandoned the blueprint. Even now, what feels delayed is simply being fortified. Chosen one, do not fear the shaking. When heaven is about to elevate you, it first exposes what cannot go higher with you. That's why certain relationships, habits, or even thought patterns have recently crumbled. You are not being punished, you are being purified. Every battle you're facing is designed to strip away anything that would weaken your next level of blessing. There is power in perspective. What if every obstacle in front of you isn't blocking you but building you? What if every tear is training your spirit to stand stronger beside your future partner? The warrior in you is awakening. You are learning to fight with faith, not fear. You are learning to recognize that spiritual warfare is not a sign of defeat, it's the sound of destiny arriving. The union heaven is preparing will carry weight. It will influence, inspire, and impact lives beyond your own. That is why the battle is fierce. The enemy fears what you two will accomplish together. He knows your partnership will shake darkness at its core. But do not let that intimidate you. Let it inspire you. The greater the resistance, the greater the revelation that follows. When you meet the one heaven has chosen, the two of you will not walk in ease alone, you will walk in authority. Together, you will intercede for others, build with faith, and restore what the world thought was lost. Your love will not just comfort, it will conquer. That is why heaven is making sure you learn how to fight in prayer now, because your union will be a weapon of light. And so, when you feel weary, remember, even warriors rest in God. The battle belongs to the Lord. Your only assignment is to stand firm, believe, and worship through it. The storm cannot outlast the word spoken over you. You are covered, chosen one. If these words meet you in the middle of your struggle, let them breathe peace into your soul. Heaven has not forgotten you. You are not losing, you are learning. You are being strengthened for the victory that's already been written in your name. Now take a gentle moment of gratitude. Breathe, reflect. Feel heaven's nearness even in your challenges. And when you can, show a small act of faith, one that costs nothing but carries meaning. Like this message if it resonates, not out of routine, but as a quiet amen. Let it be your way of agreeing with heaven's promise that your battle has purpose. Share it not for numbers or validation, but because someone else may be fighting silently, waiting for this very reminder. Sometimes the simplest share becomes another person's lifeline. And if your heart is led, subscribe not just to follow messages, but to stay connected to what heaven is doing through this space. This is more than content, it's community. A place where the chosen ones gather to be reminded that faith still works, that love still wins, and that heaven always fulfills its word. The battle before the blessing is real, but it is temporary. You are not losing ground, you are being positioned for victory. The fire around you is not destruction, it's refinement. Hold on. Chosen one. Heaven's plan is unfolding, and you are moments away from stepping into the fulfillment of everything you've endured for. Chosen one. As heaven prepares to release your divine partner, there is one final truth you must understand. You are not waiting for perfection. You are being shaped for partnership. Becoming the partner you prayed for is part of your calling. The love story heaven is writing will not be sustained by emotion alone, but by maturity, discipline, and spiritual alignment. The person heaven sends is not your reward for waiting, it is your reflection after transformation. You have been in a long process of becoming. Heaven has been refining you through trials, disappointments, and solitude so that you would no longer need love to define your worth. You have learned how to stand alone, not because you were meant to remain alone, but because you needed to know your value before anyone else could recognize it. What you once saw as delay was really divine development. The love ordained for you will not resemble your past. It will not require you to chase, prove, or perform. It will call you to grow. This love will be demanding in the best way. It will challenge you to heal deeper, to communicate with grace, to forgive quickly, to build rather than retreat. The very things that once made you feel inadequate will become the areas where you now shine with wisdom. Heaven has been equipping you not for fantasy, but for covenant. You have prayed for someone who is patient, gentle, and spiritually grounded. But heaven asks, can you also become those things? You prayed for someone who listens with understanding. Are you also learning to listen with empathy? You prayed for someone consistent. Are you practicing consistency in your words and actions? True partnership is not about receiving your ideal, it's about embodying it. Heaven's design for love is not transactional, but transformational. The right partner will not simply make you happy, they will make you holy. They will see your potential and nurture it. But they will also hold you accountable to your calling. Their love will not always feel comfortable, because growth never is. Yet beneath every challenge will be a foundation of peace. When heaven unites two hearts, their love becomes the soil where purpose grows. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life, that you and your descendants may live. To choose divine love is to choose life, to choose growth over comfort, commitment over convenience, purpose over pleasure. Heaven gives you the choice, but it also gives you the wisdom to choose rightly. Becoming the partner you prayed for means healing from the patterns that once sabotaged your connections. It means releasing pride, fear, and comparison. It means no longer measuring love by how much attention you receive, but by how much peace it brings. The kind of love heaven sends requires emotional strength, patience, and humility. You are being refined to carry that responsibility with grace. Chosen one. Do not fear this process of preparation. It is sacred. Heaven is not punishing you by making you wait, it is polishing you. The refining is evidence of divine trust. God would not invest so much in your transformation if He did not intend to manifest something extraordinary through your life. Every painful lesson has carved depth into your soul. Every lonely night has stretched your compassion. Every season of uncertainty has trained you to depend on divine timing. You are becoming the kind of person who can sustain a blessing rather than sabotage it. Your future partner is also being prepared. They, too, are facing tests, learning patience, confronting their fears, and discovering their identity in God. Heaven is teaching both of you how to love without selfishness and to lead without ego. When you meet, you will not come as two incomplete halves. Seeking wholeness, you will meet as two complete souls, ready to serve something greater than yourselves. There will be harmony in how you both approach challenges. Instead of arguing to win, you will communicate to understand. Instead of retreating at the first sign of conflict, you will pray together until peace returns. Love ordained by heaven doesn't avoid tension, it transforms it into unity. The strength of your connection will come not from perfection but from shared purpose. Chosen one. You are not behind. The time you have spent healing, praying, and growing has not delayed your blessing, it has ensured that you will not lose it when it comes. Heaven does not rush masterpieces, and you are one. What is forming in you now is not temporary change, it is eternal character. When your divine partner arrives, they will recognize the refinement in your eyes, the depth in your words, the calm in your presence. They will see that you did not wait passively, you prepared actively. And that preparation will make you magnetic to the kind of love that mirrors heaven itself. So keep becoming. Keep surrendering to the process. Heaven is not just sending you someone worthy of your heart, heaven is also making you someone worthy of theirs. Chosen one. This is the season of confirmation. The signs you have been praying for are already unfolding around you. Gently, subtly, divinely. Heaven is not silent, it is speaking through everything. The stillness you felt lately is not absence, it's alignment. The silence of heaven often carries the loudest answers, but only those who listen with their spirit can hear it. You are one of those who can. In this hour, your confirmations will come in unexpected ways. They may appear as dreams that linger longer than ordinary ones, dreams that feel more like memories than imagination. You may sense sudden waves of peace when you think about someone or a situation. You might even encounter repeating patterns, words, places, or songs that appear again and again, gently nudging your heart to pay attention. None of it is coincidence. Heaven communicates through patterns, through whispers, through divine repetition. You have asked, "How will I know?" Heaven answers, "Peace will tell you." Confusion never comes from God. Where the Spirit is present, peace follows. It may not make perfect sense in your mind, but it will make perfect sense in your soul. That is how you will know that the divine promise is near. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. These words are not just comfort, they are confirmation. Everything you have endured, even the painful detours, has been working together to align you with your divine partnership. The unseen hand of heaven has been weaving threads of purpose through your entire story. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. There were seasons when you doubted the process, when you wondered if you misheard heaven. You asked for signs, and heaven gave silence instead. But silence is not the absence of communication, it's the testing of discernment. Heaven wanted to see if you could trust its timing even without its voice. And you did. That's why confirmation is now coming, not to prove what you believe, but to reward your patience for believing without proof. Confirmation may arrive through people who speak words they don't even realize are prophetic. It might come through scripture that suddenly burns in your spirit with new light. Or it may come through divine alignment, encounters so timely they feel orchestrated. Because they are. Heaven is too intentional to rely on luck. Everything that happens in this season carries purpose. You will begin to notice small shifts. The things that once consumed you no longer carry weight. The ache in your chest over what was lost feels lighter. The desire to chase fades, replaced by quiet assurance. That stillness within you is the echo of divine confirmation. Heaven is saying, "You're closer than you think." Sometimes confirmation doesn't come through new messages, but through the return of peace. When the war inside your heart ends, that's when you know heaven has settled the matter. You don't need more evidence, you need to rest in what has already been revealed. The spiritual signs will align with emotional clarity, and your spirit will whisper, "It's time." Chosen one. Don't miss heaven's voice by expecting it to always sound dramatic. Sometimes God speaks through gentleness, through quiet moments of gratitude, through random memories that remind you how far you've come. You may wake up one morning and realize you're not afraid anymore. That, too, is confirmation. The fear that once ruled your decisions has been replaced by trust. That is the fruit of divine alignment. Soon, the confirmations will move from internal to external. The things you sensed in prayer will begin to manifest physically. Conversations will align. Doors will open. Encounters will happen without your effort. It will be as if heaven itself is arranging each detail so perfectly that you cannot deny its hand. When that happens, smile not in surprise, but in recognition. You always knew this moment would come. You have walked faithfully through silence. Now heaven will reward you with clarity. Your patience has matured into discernment, and that discernment will protect you as you step into what's next. And if this message stirs something deep within your spirit, if you feel the quiet confirmation rising as you read these words, then respond not with striving, but with surrender. Type 4,444 inches, the comments below, as a prophetic sign of divine confirmation and angelic alignment. This number represents stability, establishment, and the completion of preparation. By writing it, you are agreeing that heaven's timing is perfect and its promises sure. You are no longer searching for signs, you are living in them. Everything is converging now. The dreams, the whispers, the signs, they all point to one truth. Heaven is faithful, and what it promised is already unfolding. Chosen one, your confirmation is here. You don't need to force it or fear missing it. What belongs to you will find you, and it will do so in peace. Chosen one, there will be a moment when all the waiting, all the wondering, all the praying will converge into one breathtaking reality. The day destiny reveals your partner will not be ordinary. It will feel like heaven, gently pulling back a curtain that had been closed for years. Everything will make sense in a single instant. You will not need a signpost or a prophet to tell you what your spirit already knows. It will be as if the air itself whispers, "This is the moment I promised." The day will begin like any other. You will go about your life as usual, perhaps running errands, working, or simply being present in your day. But within that ordinary rhythm, heaven will weave something extraordinary. The steps that seem random will turn out to be orchestrated. The timing will feel almost too perfect to explain. But that is how God works, subtle in action, yet absolute in intention. When your eyes meet the one heaven has chosen, time will not rush, it will slow. The noise of the world will fade, replaced by an awareness that something holy has just entered your orbit. You may not even speak immediately. Sometimes, recognition is silent. Your soul will remember what your mind is only now discovering. That sense of, "I know you will be real." It is not fantasy or coincidence, it is divine remembrance. The ancient words written in the Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4, "I have found the one whom my soul loves." Those words will no longer be poetry to you, they will be your reality. The phrase will echo within your spirit as if heaven itself is repeating it. The one you prayed for, cried for, and waited for will be standing right before you. But chosen one, understand this, the first encounter is not about perfection, it's about peace. Heaven will not need to impress you, it will need to assure you. The peace that surrounds this connection will speak louder than any emotion. You may not even realize at first how significant the meeting is, but later, when you replay it in your mind, you'll feel it again, the stillness, the calm, the warmth. That is how heaven marks moments of destiny. After that meeting, something inside you will shift. You'll notice your thoughts becoming lighter, your spirit calmer. You won't feel the old urge to chase or analyze. Instead, there will be an ease, a gentle certainty. You'll realize that the one meant for you doesn't come to disturb your peace, they arrive to expand it. Heaven has orchestrated this encounter not as a surprise, but as a fulfillment. Every previous disappointment, every closed door, every unanswered prayer was leading to this intersection. The pain of the past was never meant to harden you. It was meant to prepare you for the purity of what's arriving. You will be able to appreciate love on a level that only those who have known loss can understand. The day you meet them, you will sense that heaven has been preparing them too. They will speak words that echo your prayers. They will understand things you never said aloud. There will be no forcing, no performance, only alignment. It will feel like two puzzle pieces finally snapping into place. Chosen one. Divine timing doesn't just connect people, it redeems moments. When you meet this person, all the waiting will suddenly feel short. You will see that heaven was never late. It was protecting the timing. The years you thought were wasted will reveal themselves as sacred investment. You will no longer resent the delays. You will bless them, because without them, you would have met the right person at the wrong time. Do not be surprised if the moment feels surreal. Many chosen ones describe it as déjà vu, like stepping into a memory they didn't know they had. That is the echo of eternity, a reminder that heaven's design has no beginning or end. It only manifests when both hearts are ready. After the first encounter, take your time. Do not rush to define what heaven is still unveiling. Let it unfold naturally, gracefully. The same God who arranged the meeting will also guide the pace. Patience is not hesitation, it's trust. Allow the divine rhythm to lead you both forward, one step at a time. There may be small confirmations, words that repeat, moments of unplanned connection, conversations that feel timeless. These are not accidents. They are heaven's way of saying, "This is my doing." And in that moment of realization, you will remember this message. You will remember that heaven promised this. You will feel gratitude rise so deeply that words will fail you. You will finally understand that all those lonely nights were not punishment, but preparation for a love that could only arrive once you had become whole. Chosen one. The first encounter will not just mark the beginning of a relationship, it will mark the fulfillment of prophecy. You will see heaven's precision. You will feel its peace. And you will know you have stepped into destiny. Chosen one. Divine love does not follow the world's patterns. The moment you step into heaven's courtship, you will feel the difference immediately. This love will not be hurried, and it will not be reckless. It will grow quietly, patiently, and intentionally, like a sunrise that doesn't rush to prove its brilliance, but still transforms the sky. Heaven's version of courtship is not about excitement, it's about establishment. It is about two souls walking hand in hand, guided not by impulse, but by purpose. From the very beginning, you will sense that this connection carries weight. Every conversation will feel anointed, as if heaven itself is leaning in to listen. The ordinary will feel sacred, a shared meal, a simple walk, a prayer whispered together. The lightness of companionship will meet the gravity of calling. You will not feel like you are falling in love, you will feel like you are walking in it, one step at a time, fully aware of heaven's presence guiding you. The foundation of divine courtship is honor. There will be no games, no manipulations, no need to question motives. Both hearts will be transparent, because heaven has already purified them. You will experience the joy of being loved with truth. There will be vulnerability, but not fear. Openness, but not chaos. In every exchange, grace will be the language. This kind of love doesn't demand to be proven, it simply exists in peace and truth. Heaven has waited for this moment, two prepared souls meeting not in need, but in purpose. The relationship will not depend on emotional highs, but on spiritual depth. The one heaven sends will pray with you before they pursue you. They will see your calling and want to protect it. Their affection will feel like safety, and their words will carry wisdom. The love you build together will not distract you from your walk with God. It will strengthen it. As Scripture declares through the ancient wisdom of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor." This verse will come alive in your life. You will begin to see how partnership in heaven's design multiplies everything. One can pray with power, but two can shift atmospheres. One can stand in faith, but two can build a fortress of endurance. Divine courtship is not merely romance, it is revelation of how unity magnifies purpose. Chosen one. This kind of love is not about performance, it's about presence. You won't need to be perfect, you'll simply need to be present, attentive, sincere, authentic. Heaven will teach you how to communicate with grace, how to listen without judgment, how to resolve conflict through prayer rather than pride. This relationship will feel like a classroom of heaven's principles wrapped in human affection. Every challenge will refine you both. Every joy will remind you of God's generosity. You will find that this love is balanced. There will be laughter, but also reverence. There will be passion, but also patience. You will learn to build rhythm together where one is weak. The other will stand strong. When one forgets hope, the other will speak faith. This partnership will not erase individuality, it will amplify it. You will still be fully yourself, yet more complete within unity. In divine courtship, heaven remains the center. You will pray together before making decisions. You will speak blessings over each other instead of accusations. When disagreements arise, peace will not vanish, it will pause, waiting for humility to restore it. You will not fight to win, you will fight to understand. This is the maturity heaven has been preparing you for. You will also discover that divine love requires boundaries not to limit freedom, but to protect holiness. There will be mutual respect for timing, for purity, for God's rhythm. The world may not understand it, but heaven will celebrate it. Every time you choose patience over passion, you are honoring the covenant before it even begins. That is why heaven trusts you with something so rare, because you have learned to value purpose over pleasure. There will be days when you both grow quietly, tending to your individual callings, yet always connected through prayer. Distance will not create fear, it will strengthen faith. When communication is delayed, trust will hold steady. When the world grows loud, your shared stillness will become your refuge. This is what happens when two souls are anchored in divine order. Storms may come, but the foundation never cracks. Chosen one, this stage of your journey is precious. Do not rush it. Do not compare it to others. Every moment of divine courtship is a seed being planted into eternity. How you handle this phase will determine the strength of what comes after. Be intentional. Speak gently. Listen deeply. Let heaven continue to be your counselor. You have waited not for a fairy tale, but for a covenant. This love will prove that what God joins, no force on earth or in darkness can divide. It will not fade when the world grows cold. It will burn brighter because it was lit by heaven. Walk in it slowly, gratefully, prayerfully. The love you are building now will echo through generations. Chosen one. The heavens rejoice when two souls walk in covenant under open skies. Your union will not simply be celebrated on earth, it will be recorded in heaven as a fulfilled promise. When God brings two chosen hearts together, He does not only join them in emotion but in purpose, under open heaven. Everything that once resisted your progress now yields. Every delay bows to divine timing. Every closed door begins to open. The atmosphere shifts because what was once individual destiny becomes unified destiny. This is what you have been prepared for, a partnership where heaven's favor flows freely. Together, you will move with spiritual authority. What you decree in faith will manifest in reality. The prayers that once felt too heavy to carry alone will now be shared, strengthened, and multiplied. This is not the end of your waiting, it is the beginning of your reigning. You and your divine partner will not simply walk side by side. You will stand as co-heirs of divine purpose. Heaven promises in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 19, "If two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." This scripture will not remain words to you, it will become your daily rhythm. Agreement in prayer will be your superpower. The same unity that makes you unstoppable in love will make you unshakable in purpose. When heaven opens over a divine union, favor follows naturally. You will notice blessings flowing where there was once resistance. Opportunities will appear without striving. Resources will align without manipulation. Your union will radiate light, and that light will draw provision, protection, and peace. People will see you both and sense the presence of something divine, something not built by hands, but by heaven. This relationship will not be about perfection, it will be about partnership. You will learn to celebrate strengths and cover weaknesses. You will build dreams together, not out of ambition but out of obedience. What you create, whether family, ministry, or mission, will serve generations beyond you. Heaven's love always carries legacy. There will be days when your faith will be tested even after the promise arrives. But now you will face those challenges not as two separate souls, but as one united front. When darkness tries to return, your prayers will be louder than your fears. You will remind each other of heaven's word. You will pray with confidence, saying, "We are covered under open heaven." The presence of God will dwell in your home. Your table will be an altar. Your laughter will be worship. Every conversation spoken in love will echo in eternity. People who once doubted your story will witness transformation they cannot explain. The evidence will be undeniable. Heaven's hand is upon your life. Chosen one. This is more than romance, it's restoration. Heaven is showing the world what love looks like when God is at the center. The unity you share will heal others who have lost faith in divine timing. Your testimony will awaken hearts, reminding them that heaven still writes love stories and that obedience still leads to blessing. Pause here for a moment. Let gratitude rise in your heart. Remember how far you've come, the lonely nights, the unanswered prayers, the tears that heaven turned into seeds. You planted faith, and now you are standing in harvest. You are living proof that waiting on God never ends in disappointment. If these words find you smiling with tears in your eyes, take a moment to breathe and thank the one who never let go of you. Let your gratitude become a ripple of encouragement for others walking the same road. If you feel led, like this message, not for numbers, but as an act of worship. When you click like, you're saying, "God, I see what you've done in me, and I trust you for what's coming." Share this word as a seed of hope for another soul. Someone out there is still waiting in silence, wondering if heaven remembers them. Your simple act of sharing could be the whisper they need to keep believing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger for more of heaven's truth. This space is not about content, it's about connection. Every message here carries oil, and every word here reminds you of who you are, a chosen one. called to live under open heaven. Finally, take a moment and write in the comments below how this message touched you. Your words could become confirmation for another reader. Sometimes a single sentence from your testimony becomes the spark that reignites someone else's faith. Don't underestimate the power of your voice. It carries light. Chosen one, the heavens are open over your life. The blessings you once prayed for in tears will soon appear in plain sight. The season of testing is turning into a season of triumph. Step boldly into it. Heaven is smiling, and your story is only beginning. Chosen one, what heaven is forming in your life now is not just a relationship, it is a covenant. A sacred binding between two souls who have both walked through fire and remained faithful. The crown of covenant is not handed to the careless. It is bestowed upon those who have endured, obeyed, and trusted through the storm. You are one of them. You have proven your faith in seasons where there was no evidence, and heaven is now entrusting you with something holy, a love that reflects divine commitment. Covenant love is not fragile. It is not swayed by emotion or convenience. It stands firm in the face of adversity because it is rooted in heaven's word, not human desire. When God crowns your union, He also clothes it with authority. Every promise you make before Him becomes an echo in eternity. The vows are not merely spoken, they are sealed in spirit. You are not just entering a relationship, you are stepping into divine responsibility. This covenant carries power. It will shift atmospheres. The peace that flows from it will touch others who come near you. People will feel stability, calm, and hope just by being in your presence. That is because covenant is more than agreement. It is alignment with heaven's will. Through your union, God will display His nature steadfast, merciful, and true. The ancient words of promise remain unshaken in the book of Malachi. Chapter 2, verse 15. Has not the one God made you? You belong to Him in body and spirit. And what does the one God seek? Godly offspring. This is the purpose of divine covenant, not only to bless your union, but to multiply goodness through it, whether through children, influence, or legacy. Your partnership will produce fruit that carries heaven's fragrance. What God joins is not just for two people, it's for generations. Chosen one. This crown is not a decoration, it's a calling. The love you are stepping into will require daily surrender. You will need to guard it with prayer, nourish it with forgiveness, and protect it with humility. True covenant is maintained not by perfection but by persistence. There will be days of challenge, but your strength will be found in unity. When one grows weary, the other will remind them of the promise. When doubt arises, prayer will silence it. Heaven does not crown those who seek comfort, it crowns those who can carry commitment. That is why your preparation was so intense. Every test of your patience, every season of solitude, every lesson in faithfulness was shaping you to wear this crown with honor. It's not heavy because it's punishment, it's heavy because it carries glory. You and your divine partner will become an example of endurance. People will see how you handle trials with grace and learn that love anchored in God cannot be shaken by circumstance. You will not need to preach about covenant, you will live it. Your unity will become a sermon without words. This covenant also serves as spiritual warfare. The enemy despises godly unions because they mirror heaven's order. But you need not fear. The same God who ordained your connection has fortified it. The crown of covenant is both a symbol of love and a shield of protection. Every prayer you say together will reinforce the walls around your bond. Every act of unity will confuse the darkness. You are not just a couple, you are a divine alliance. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the sacredness of this. When heaven crowns a union, it also crowns a mission. Your purpose will expand. New doors will open not because of effort, but because of alignment. You will find yourselves walking in favor so profound that it cannot be explained, only experienced. You will understand why everything had to happen exactly as it did, every heartbreak, every delay, every waiting night. It all led here, to this holy moment of partnership. Wearing the crown of covenant also means walking in humility. Glory does not belong to you, it flows through you. The purpose of this love is to reveal God's heart to the world. The more you love selflessly, the more heaven is seen. You are both becoming vessels through which others will understand that divine love is possible, pure, and powerful. In the stillness of your spirit, you will sense heaven's approval. The crown cannot be seen with human eyes, but its presence will be undeniable. Peace will settle where there was once striving. Joy will replace fear, and gratitude will overflow like rivers of living water. Chosen one, you have reached the stage where promises turn to permanence. This is the season when heaven crowns commitment and calls it covenant. You have been faithful with the promise, now you will be entrusted with the fulfillment. Carry this love with reverence. Guard it with prayer. Let every heartbeat remind you, this crown was not given lightly. It was earned through trust, purified through patience, and sealed in divine fire. Walk in it with confidence, with grace, and with gratitude. The crown of covenant now rests upon you, and heaven calls it good. Chosen one. Love ordained by heaven does not end with time, it transcends it. What is being sealed over your life now is not a temporary connection, but an eternal companionship. The love you are stepping into will not fade with seasons or crumble under pressure. It will echo through generations as proof that God's timing is never late and His promises never fail. This is the final unveiling, the moment where two souls, once separated by distance and process, stand side by side in the fullness of divine purpose. You have reached the place where striving ceases. The storms that once raged against your heart have gone quiet. The doubts that whispered, "Maybe it will never happen," have lost their voice. In their place now lives a profound calm, a peace that feels like home. Heaven's orchestration has come full circle. You are not entering a fleeting chapter. You are stepping into a sacred eternity written before your birth. The eternal companionship heaven ordains is built not on need, but on knowing. You will know each other not only by words, but by silence. Not only by touch, but by presence. There will be moments when no language is needed, because your souls will communicate in the language of peace. That is what happens when two spirits have been aligned in divine purpose since the beginning. This companionship is not limited by mortality. Love that comes from heaven does not die when the body grows weak, it endures. It evolves. It continues in spirit. Even when the world changes, even when years pass, the connection remains untouched by time. That is the mystery of divine love. It belongs to eternity. The Word of God declares in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 12, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." This is the foundation of eternal companionship. It is not about possession or control, it is about reflection. You are being called to mirror divine love, patient, kind, unwavering, and unconditional. When heaven brings two chosen souls together, it is to demonstrate to the world how God Himself loves His creation with constancy, with grace, with sacrifice. Chosen one, the partnership that begins on earth will continue beyond it. You will walk together in purpose here, and you will walk in glory there. Your union is not only an earthly bond, it is a heavenly continuation. Every act of love, every prayer spoken together, every moment of shared faith will echo in eternity. Heaven's archives will record your obedience, your unity, and your devotion. You are becoming a living example of what it means to be one in spirit and in truth. This eternal companionship will not be without challenges, but those challenges will serve as chisels, shaping you both into reflections of divine strength. When difficulties arise, you will not turn away, you will draw nearer. When confusion comes, you will not argue, you will pray. Every trial you face will only strengthen the foundation heaven has laid, because when love is born from God, it cannot be undone by man. You will look back one day and see how every lonely night, every tear, every moment of doubt was part of heaven's weaving. None of it was wasted. The waiting built endurance. The heartbreaks built compassion. And the prayers built faith. You were not delayed, you were designed. Heaven was aligning the right hearts at the right time to fulfill the right purpose. Eternal companionship is not about romance alone, it is about legacy. The love between you will inspire others to believe again. Your faithfulness will teach your children and those around you what commitment looks like, even long after you are gone. The story of your obedience will continue to speak. The spiritual imprint of your covenant will remain as testimony that true love is not emotion, it is assignment. There will be quiet days filled with laughter that feels sacred. There will be moments of shared silence that feel like worship. There will be mornings when gratitude overwhelms you. When you realize that everything you once prayed for is sitting beside you, breathing the same air, holding the same promise. And in those moments, you will feel heaven smiling because this is what it was all leading to. Your eternal companionship will not erase individuality, it will elevate it. You will still pursue your callings, still walk your personal paths, but always in harmony. Heaven's love does not bind, it balances. You will be free, yet intertwined, strong, alone, yet unstoppable, together. The connection between you will not consume your purpose, it will complete it. Chosen one, as you step into this final phase, know that nothing was lost. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak was part of the divine script. Heaven never forgot you. It was writing you into something eternal. You now stand as living proof that promises made by God do not expire. And when your journey on this earth eventually reaches its quiet conclusion, the companionship will not fade, it will simply continue in another realm. Two souls, still intertwined, still radiant, still chosen. Love like this never ends because it was never meant to. It was heaven's design all along, two hearts carrying eternity within them. You are stepping into forever. You are stepping into the promise fulfilled. You are stepping into the eternal embrace of divine companionship. Chosen one, take a deep breath. You have reached the end of this divine revelation, but it is not the end of your story. This journey has been heaven's whisper, a reminder that your life is not random. that your love story was never left to chance. You were seen, chosen, refined, and now crowned. The waiting is over. The alignment has begun. Heaven has fulfilled what it promised. As you stand here, reading these final words, feel gratitude rising in your chest. The peace that surrounds you right now is not imagined, it is confirmation. Heaven's timing has been perfect all along. Every delay became design. Every heartbreak became holy preparation. You are now walking under open heaven, surrounded by favor, guided by purpose, and embraced by divine love. Remember this truth: you were never just waiting for love. Heaven was waiting for you to become love. And now you are ready. You carry the glow of obedience, the strength of endurance, and the fragrance of faith. Wherever you go, heaven will continue to write beauty through your life. Pause here and reflect. Look how far you've come from questioning to confidence, from isolation to illumination. The storms have passed. The tears have watered your garden. And now everything blooms. Your testimony will awaken others who are still in the dark night of waiting. Be generous with your story. Let it be a lamp for another weary heart. If this journey has touched you, take a moment to respond in faith. Like this message not for recognition, but as a silent act of worship. Let it be your way of saying, I receive what heaven has spoken. Share it forward. Somewhere out there, another chosen soul is scrolling through silence, wondering if God still remembers them. Your simple act of sharing could become the sign they have been praying for. It could be the moment heaven uses you to deliver hope. And before you leave, write in the comments how this message has stirred your heart. Your words matter. They carry light. And that light can ignite someone else's faith. There is power in testimony. Every sentence of gratitude becomes another seed of blessing. If your spirit desires to stay connected to these divine messages, subscribe and remain part of this sacred circle. Not as a follower, but as family, those walking together in revelation and restoration. Chosen one, your story is heaven's masterpiece. Walk in love, speak with grace, and live knowing this truth: you are chosen, favored, and deeply loved. Heaven has written fulfilled beside your name.